yeah. I'm not going to tell people that they can't be angry, because at the end of the day, people do have a right. Like, anger is an emotion; it exists for a reason. So, to tell people that they shouldn't ever be angry, I think that's crazy. Right? We have anger for a reason. Yeah, I mean, the police do aggravate stuff. I was actually why it keeps the skin so smooth. Where is it? Oh, he's busy trying to charm some babes. Should we go video him charming some babes? Oh! What happened to the babes?
Huh?
I saw you over there.
What's that?
Making your moves.
Yeah, just
Put out in conversation.
A very special hello. Oh, you've been asked how do you keep your skin so smooth?
What? Smooth? It's my mum. She was gorgeous, and then like she had me, and she just like that. Thanks, mum. Thank you very much. And thanks, dad, for marrying her. You know, I don't blame my dad for marrying her at all.
I've not seen Resistance BB, so I don't know where BB is. He was meant to be here. Maybe he decided to go down to G7 and actually made it down there. Sky Angel says you are actual gorgeous.
Huh?
Sky Angel?
Sky Angel offered to let us stay in her place in Scotland, which is probably
That's nice.
lovely.
That's really generous, Sky Angel.
Lovely people.
Have I... Someone's saying, have I got a date?
You.
Sky Angel was, yeah, she wants you in Edinburgh.
I want to go to Edinburgh.
Well, if the SNP end up doing their another separatist referendum, then we might have to go to Edinburgh. Is Jam for Freedom going to do a Jam for Britain?
Maybe. Yeah, where's Sean, man? He was here.
I saw him with, what's her face, down by the Israeli embassy. They were down by Holland Park or something?
I paid for his donation, then he went missing on a...
Yeah, he said he would come back up, but they said they were going to sort of take their time about it, so... I have no clue. He's a really nice guy, like, but he's absolute nutter, right? Like, he's got, you know, proper balls of steel, which you've got to respect. Like, have you seen the video with the 14 police vans?
I don't think I have.
Oh, I can't get
It's called Mad Lad Calls Out 14 Vans of Maskless Police. It's Keith whilst drunk running up to 14 police vans and knocking on them, saying, "Where's your masks? Where's your mask? You're just dogs of the corporatocracy."
I think I might have actually seen one,
You and 70,000, you and 70,000 other people. People recognise that now.
I got donations. All my donations gone in good.
I just spoke to him and he's a really nice guy.
They just fell off. I didn't realise. I couldn't get it.
Like, hopefully, like, he's done so much for like the Julian Assange stuff. So
Well, me and him have been catching the bus at the same bus
I recommend it to all now, but yeah.
the train stopped
I need
running
like
on the bus or something like as a camper.
well, what I'm hoping, I want to sort of help out some of the Julian Assange crowd and sort of give him more of a voice, because I don't feel that I've been covering what's been going on with Julian Assange enough. Because they really helped launch the channel, and frankly, it's like he's the best journalist in the world, really.
I won't lie, I don't follow the Julian Assange stuff, so I don't know if there's any news.
Well, that's my fault because I've not been covering it enough. Like I've been letting people down, frankly.
Most of the stuff I see online is just people standing outside a building and saying, "Free Julian Assange," and I'm like, I don't really want to watch people just going, "Free Julian Assange." I want to actually see news and activity and progress, not just free Julian Assange.
Yeah, he's in a prison. Well, maybe they need to get more radical with the process.
I don't really want to see things like the smashing windows, like BLM. I mean, that would just piss me off.
No, well, I mean inventive, maybe.
If anything, I think that would turn more people against
Being
Julian
a mod
Assange.
is not a good thing. It's something you
Yeah, I mean more inventive, you know.
work.
Like sticker campaigns work really well.
Maybe music like Jam for Freedom, Jam for Julian.
But what's the,
Do you know what? That's a great idea. You should arrange that.
I don't think I would necessarily do it.
Look, all I'm saying is you've given me a great idea. All I'm saying is if you propose that to Keith, maybe he could get it done. But I could not possibly participate.
I'm particularly interested in my comedy show with the guys, so I'll be focusing on that. But, you know.
But yeah, when's that coming out?
Well, we haven't set the plan for recording dates or anything. We're just talking about, you know, what subjects are common interest to us all. What kind of extremes do we want to go with banter? Or, you know, are people open to any kind of banter, or are we kind of like, we don't want to touch that? Are we going to go BBC level, like restrictive, or, you know,
No, mate. If people want to see BBC stuff,
yeah. Well, that's my point.
are you hiding from the camera again?
My view is that we should go all out for pub banter.
Yeah, go. Just be as spicy as you can.
Say something, if someone will say it's offensive, then say 10 times harder.
Yeah, like literally, this morning, right, I went to like go and like get some food because he cooked the chicken, and then this guy's like, oh, the chicken's cooked in the backhand turns on.
I want to see people taking the piss out of it.
What? Where was the watermelon?
I do WTube.
Oh, but my main point was, where was the watermelon? You think black people like watermelon? You're just another racist, aren't you?
Yeah, I hate this.
Union Jack on his t-shirt, confirmed racist. Alright, wait a second, I'll give you that to a tweet.
I was gonna give it to you. I got two streams now. TV. Shall I steal his stuff?
East kind of comedy.
I always do French report.
Sorry?
I always do French report. Yeah, and I've got my pad.
Hey guys, just do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. Please, just watch. You want to watch. I mean, what you can do, what would be really helpful, right? Just share the video, you know? Like the video, share the video. Today, I forgot to put the description in, but if you look at my other videos, there are Amazon links. So this is amazing, right? If you're going to buy, say you're going to buy television on Amazon, you click my link, and then it opens up your Amazon on your computer. So when you buy something, I'll get commission. That would be amazing. I know a lot of people use Amazon. If you're buying like fancy TV for like $1,000, and you click my link first, go to your Amazon, then buy a TV, I'll get commission. Amazon, what's it called? Amazon affiliates. So that's one way you can help, and you're not paying me, it's Amazon are paying me. Yeah, that's it. Lama, great. Sounds like not a good place to be. Oh, nice birthday. I feel sad, man. I miss Sam. I should have went. Part of me I should have went. Sam's my mate. And then I thought like well everyone was going, and they all didn't go. Their car broke down. Now it's just Sam over there by himself. Oh no, there's other people.
Not going along as fast as I can.
Oh, sorry, what?
Yeah, guys, remember that. Yeah. It's not on this description, it doesn't happen quickly. But on my other videos, you buy stuff from Amazon, go through my Amazon link. Amazon's gonna give me money. Right? I don't know, Sky. You see me after a couple of whispeys, not so much.
I mean,
So guys, we're just gonna chill here for a bit.
dealing with people where it's all voluntary, it's like earning cash.
Say to people, we're doing what we're doing, so want to join us.
Many people.
Oh, don't say that.
Oh shit, I got Will Stream as well. Sorry, forgot about that. Wait. I'm gonna speak to Will Stream, right? Hello everybody, I am Resistance GB. That is not Resistance GB, that is an imposter. Imposters are criminals. Criminals should be hung. I am Resistance GB, don't you know? How many subscribers do you have? I have
Guys,
more.
do subscribe to us on Telegram, please, in case we get booted off of YouTube. Please do subscribe. Go on, give us a follow on Telegram.
That is an imposter. Do not listen to that man. I am Resistance GB. I. How many subscribers do you have? I have more.
Oh no, I am Resistance GB. No.
How many subscribers do you have? I have more. My father is David Curtin. Do you know who he is?
Oh, look at me, I can play the guitar. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, look at me, I'm in a band and I wear sunglasses all the time.
Yeah. I'm cool as fuck, innit? Look at this guy.
You wear sunglasses so you can't see at night.
Yep.
I tried sending this guy on a recon.
Are you
to find
making
out
fun
where
out of my
the police
disability?
were, and,
You hate the
like,
disabled.
He said I can't see because it was dark and he was wearing sunglasses. He
Yeah,
took the
because
sunglasses off, he can't see
I
well.
was on tour and he went a bit wild and my glasses ended up in Cardiff. Now I'm disabled at night. And you mock my disability. Oh, I'm so sad.
I mock your incompetence to actually buy like spare pairs of glasses.
I have ordered them, but because of COVID, right? All this bullshit, like the people are delaying everything. Terrible, terrible.
Mate, you need like 2 pairs at least.
No, you're right. It's true. It is true. I was living life on the edge, and now I'm paying the price. I accept it.
Now you're paying the price
Yeah.
that you can't see it.
Yeah, I accept it. I'm taking responsibility. But I just know I'm disabled at night now. That's it, until my other glasses arrive. Yeah.
Hey, don't keep saying that. It's the white man's fault. The evil white man.
He's half white.
Yeah. Wait a second. Just
Don't blame yourself.
yeah.
Right, guys, listen. I'm doing 2 streams at once, right?
Reparation.
So, hello, actual interview. How are you doing today? I'm alright, Resistance GB. You know, I'm okay. But Resistance GB stole my hat. That's not cool, guys. That's not cool at all. Give his hat back. Free the hat. Free the flat cap. Free the flat cap. Flat cap.
Oh no, I'm not gonna give you that flat cap.
Oh, there we go. I like it. There's the
We're gonna
comedy.
go up
There's the
north.
comedy, mate.
Oh, are you coming up north? You know,
Huh?
our lad Roger.
I heard you like to go south.
So are you going up north then? Are you coming to go see David Curtin in Batley and Spen?
Yes.
You know, have you ever been to Batley and Spen?
We'll say what?
Have you ever been to Batley and Spen, lad?
No.
You know, you go up there, it's gravy. Oh no, that's practically Scotland, that. You don't want that lad over there.
Yeah, we are.
But yeah, basically, I'm thinking of going up to cover the Batley and Spen by-election.
Oh, really? Really? When's that?
It's like early next month. So we'll just have to sort of go, like, if Sean manages to get his car unfucked.
Maybe Sean lied about it. He just doesn't want to take you.
What? So Sean literally drove out to a motorway, took a picture, recorded himself on the motorway just to get out of going on holiday
with you. I don't think that's true. I think it broke down.
Well, to be fair,
You know what I'm really sad about? Because I wasn't going, right? So I already been on my little holiday thing. Pretty knackered and I thought I'd stay here and you guys are going there. I'm really sad that you guys didn't go. Because now Sam's like kind of on his own.
well, no, he's got Paul.
But no, he has, but at the same time, it's like, if there's more people, it'd be more fun, right?
Yeah, it would have been,
It would have been more fun. So I thought you guys, like, I had a holiday. Like, me playing with Jam for Freedom, that was my holiday. I haven't had a holiday for like a year. And I was thinking, for you, that guys would have been your little holiday.
Yeah, that was meant to be our holiday. But
You know what I mean? Everyone deserves one. So I'm a bit sad for Sam, man.
Look, I'm going down to Cornwall at some point. It's happening. It's just, you know, it was just a really convenient thing that. The course of cream. Alright, Lauren's such a snob.
Hey, whoa. Look, blue and black. Wearing the same clothes again.
Stop stealing my colour.
This is what I wear. I'm wearing a blue t-shirt and black jeans. Right. He always dresses like me.
Whatever you identify as.
A butterfly.
All these people
Guys,
that
look.
camp.
Blue t-shirt, black jeans, blue shirt, black. Media consumers had enough. He's been here 13 days. 13th day, he's become delirious. Media consumers become delirious, guys. This is what he sacrificed. He sacrifices his mind, his brain, his soul. Just for
Happy for you to use it. Please don't put your shoes on it. This is getting dirty and shit.
Who he is?
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, like a
How do I get out of here? You know what, listen. We've been right? He's been here 13 days, every day. I think he's gone crazy. He's just got nothing to do.
Yeah, no, you're fine to use it. Just don't put your shoes on it.
You think it? I didn't realise that was.
Just don't put your shoes on it.
I didn't realise that was. That's it.
Yeah.
I think he's got the game, man. I'm not going to shut my mouth.
Have you got a test yet? Or you just come for this? Okay, yeah.
I don't know. Shit.
You're welcome to.
But it's the problem with like hippie festivals. Like they should be. We don't know.
Nonce confirmed.
What? I can't see. There's a sun in my eyes.
You've got sunglasses, man. This is the one time you can see. This is the one time.
But it's the sun's in my
Oh, we
eyes.
caught him. We caught him.
The sun's in my
Alright,
eyes.
lynch him, lads. Lynch him.
Look at the sun. Look.
Lynch him.
I have proof of my
Lynch him.
I have
He's
proof
oppressed
of
by
my-
Boris Johnson.
The sun is glaring, right?
It's Donald Trump's fault. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, he wouldn't have lost his glasses.
You guys look on the cider. Cold cider. Thank you, Cobb. Where's Resistance Girl? What happened to her?
She's back home doing a little bit of editing, but mostly resting. Why do you not have a tripod?
You fucking fell off in it. The fucking march and the motorway protest. I was devastated. It fell off, right? I saw it like a minute later. I couldn't go back because we were on a bloody A road. They were full of cars and shit.
Hey!
My hat.
Is my flat cap back?
Why flat cap? Why'd you get one?
Which one's black? Which one's Indian?
I'm blacker than him.
I'm
It's
twice
funny, I'm
certified.
literally blacker than him, right? But he's certified black.
Yeah, but it's usually the flat cap.
It's not right,
you know.
it's not right. It's not right. I'm jealous.
Jeanette Plum is saying, looking so well, actually.
What?
Jeanette Plum is saying, looking so well, actually.
Oh, right. What, you mean like I look beautiful?
Yeah, you've got a bit of attention coming in. Thank you, Bats.
I'm
very glad. I'm really glad Will is here. I got some like.
Of course not, John. Like, everyone has the right to be proud of their nation, or at least proud of like the good things about their nation.
Government, they want to microchip us. Fuck a vaccine, I'd rather have a snake bite.
Snake bite, yeah. Snake bite, cider, Guinness, and a blackcurrant, right? Snake bite.
If you're looking carefully up in the sky, you will see him spray.
I feel sorry for the Americans. If any Americans can hear this, they should actually try blackcurrant juice. They don't get it in America. Blackcurrant juice. I mean, when I looked in America, I just suddenly had noticed. I was like,
What do they call it?
they don't have it. They made blackcurrant illegal in America. Yeah.
What?
At one point, they made blackcurrant illegal in America.
What did the blackcurrants do to the Americans?
Yeah, well, it contained the word black, and they were run by the KKK at the time. I think it poisoned the palm trees or something like that.
How can you ban? Like, this is retarded. How can people ban a plant?
You one job, you can fuck my food up.
They're turning the friggin' frogs gay. The globalists.
I will, when you come to the banana shop.
I think that the fruits that when they were growing, they caused some kind of infection to the palm trees that caused damage to the trees or something like that. So they
I'm in the banana shop too, I haven't seen
the
me,
growth
man.
of them.
I haven't been for ages.
So did they go round arresting blackcurrants? Like, excuse me, good sir, you're growing. We're going to have to arrest you.
Have you got your driving license? I need to find out you're a blackcurrant.
Myself. I miss
You're
everyone.
right, current you, lad.
I miss all the streamers. That's been like the main part of my life.
How can people ban a plant?
I miss everyone.
If all immigrants left the UK, the economy would crash overnight. Well, what? It's all about GDP per person. So, I mean, rent prices would definitely get a lot cheaper. Let's imagine like 5 million people just. Oh no, it's more like what was it? Like 8 million, 10 million people just dip. So suddenly rent prices crash. Everyone keeps basically doing their jobs. There's more job vacancies. Wages go up. Yeah, and like if all the migrants left tomorrow, then probably be pretty sweet for everyone remaining. I'm gonna be honest. Like overpopulation is like an issue, and especially when government cannot like be bothered to build any infrastructure.
And it doesn't help when they centralise the entire infrastructure in London, because everyone moves to the same place.
Well, yeah, a lot of stuff is centralised in London. That's
They
true.
should distribute across the country so people can buy cheaper houses. You can rent a 5-bedroom house in Stoke-on-Trent for less than £730 a month for a 5-bedroom house rent.
But the thing is, right, like, once government shrinks, like, look, it makes sense to have government in one place. That's why you have a capital, right? So, but it's like the government is too big. Like, you take away all of the government, or most of the government, so government is less than what? Less than 10% of GDP. And suddenly, London becomes less, I don't know, less of like this, like, we become less of a unipolar nation, and you actually have the development of other cities, but you've got to plan it out as well. Like the infrastructure in Manchester is just shite. Absolutely shite. I was there for university. By the way, the University of Manchester gets 0 credit for anything I achieve in my life because they are cancer.
I don't think any university deserves credit. I got a master's degree. Our university did nothing of value.
Thank you very much.
The degree is worthless. Honestly, it's just a bragging rights.
Yeah. Degrees are basically just bragging rights. Like they're a joke.
No, no, it's fine with the volume of the notification. It goes really loud.
I am a lone wolf, I got no friends, so I sit alone in Stonehenge. I connect with nature, I don't need internet or no phone trends, I just need weed. So I plant some seeds until they grow stems. Nothing lasts forever, but consciousness has no end. I just use my intuition
explain to me how immigrants are a race. Like, immigrants aren't a race. Like, it's just, you know, like, you're just devaluing, like, actual racism that happens by just trying to say all immigrants are a race. That's just not true. It doesn't matter what race, like, migrants are from. At the end of the day, like, mass migration is good for the elite, it's good for the rich, it's good for the landowners. It's not good for the normal people. And it's basically a tactic to, you know, just enrich the people. Oh, our economy is growing because of the rhinos. It's like, our economy is growing negligibly, but per person,
I heard of one person who came in.
everyone's getting poorer.
He liked it so much after work, and he set up all
It's not good. Unless they're like really highly qualified, right? You've got some like, you know, guy who's like got some sort of doctorate or in engineering who's going to build the next, you know, rocket to the moon or something. That's it's just, you know, they're like generally not. It's not helpful.
But also remember that university has become a lot of this corporate consumerism, where you're getting yourself into debt for loans, you're buying a laptop that's specific to university, you're buying equipment for university, you're spending money on university, but you're not getting anything out of it, like valuable skill. So university has almost become a consumer item rather than actual value in your personal life. So, you know, I think that people are becoming poorer because they feel like university is important because that's what they're told.
Well, but what you have is you have governments like, you know, everything requires a degree, and it's like, why? Like, we've got rid of like actual apprenticeships. Everything's like, oh, now these government apprenticeships. Why don't you just have like a long-term contract with a company where all the rewards of that contract are at the end? So you sign a 5-year contract with a company, and then basically you'll get really good pay, but at the end of those 5 years.
But then they'll probably fire you at the 4th year.
I know, I've been here for 12 days.
That's why you sign the contract.
So the contract is if they try to get rid of you before 5 years,
no, he's still
you get all the
coherent.
rewards automatically.
Yeah, unless it's down to like reasonable grounds, and there'll be like tribunals and stuff. Like, they don't want to have to fight a court battle.
But he's great, man.
So, like, really, that's what it should be. Like, you want to be a teacher, okay, right? Start as a teaching assistant in a school. If after 6 months, right, they think you're ready, like, you go in, you start the job. No, if I set up a school, right, after 6 months, if someone had been, they're like, they've never worked in school before. After 6 months, they're getting used to the job. They're like, maybe you're ready. Maybe it's another 6 months. Let them do another 6 months. So they've been in a year. It's like, okay, now you're ready to start training being a teacher, right? You're going to continue as teaching assistant. You're going to do observation for the next 6 months on top, and you're going to help out with some lesson planning. Okay, 6 months after that, you're going to start, you know, actually teaching the classes, right? And you can just, like, you can just choose how you do it, right? Where you say, okay, once you jump into the training scheme, like, we do want you on board for like 5 years. And that's a decision, but do you want to get that education? You have to commit. You have to commit to a place of work.
That's it.
I don't think that's unreasonable. Like, people used to apprentice for 7 years.
When things used to be practical hands-on skills rather than classroom studies of bullshit. You know, how far left are you?
Edinburgh,
Kind of
Scotland,
lectures.
Cambridge, Southend, the Caribbean.
You know, I went to college before university, and I think I learned a lot more in college than I did in university. That was like a quick access to higher education, and they gave me the general gist of certain things, and that was so much more valuable.
University should be about critical thinking, like, and they're not taught to be critical in their thinking, and they're not taught competition. Like, I would love, after all of this is done, right, when we have our damn revolution, to set up a school and then down the road set up a university.
University for me just felt like, you know, fill out these answers, A, B, C, you know, write a few words about this, okay, go on.
Yeah, but it's all about, like, you know, oh, how do you argue Marxism? It's like, look, if your answer is Marxism, then it is wrong. That is just factually.
You're talking about politics, right?
Yeah, but it's like, it's spilled into everything.
I mean, politics is interfering in other subjects.
Everything is becoming about pseudo-politics, but look, Marxism is factually incorrect. Marxism is not the solution. Like, it has been empirically proved again and again and again and again. Communism does not work, it kills people and it ends in death camps.
It's quite ironic. The people that work best in a communal way are small communities, and they prefer capitalism, free market capitalism. The ones that don't work best in a communal group are big city folks, and they're the ones that want socialism rather than capitalism. It's kind of ironic because the city culture is every man for himself, which is kind of what capitalism is sold.
But it's essentially this pursuit of this idea of community. But what they do is they destroy community because see this is what England has always done best is the suburb.
Yeah.
You go to foreign cities and they just. I remember when I first went to Milan, and it was ghastly. I hated Milan, right? Like it's just like field after field after field, and then this wall of like, you know, high-rise estates. Like
There's nowhere in the world you can find a pisser like you can in the British suburb.
yeah, like you need cities should be spaced out. People should have parks and gardens. And what are they doing? Building on all the green spaces, taking us away from nature. The whole point of the suburb is to have nature and the city, to have both of them. And they're taking that away from us by building on every single piece of green land. And look at these ghastly like buildings. Those need to come down and be turned back into the parks they were. Then we need to build up other cities outside of London with the infrastructure so they can just grow naturally.
Stop just importing immigrants for the sake of it.
Yeah, mass
We
migration.
need to be able to cope with the current lot rather than throwing more people at it, right?
Exactly.
Wouldn't it be nicer if we could say, you know, tear down that building there and build more nice homes for the people that live here today instead of just building tall buildings for immigrants?
Well, someone's saying overpopulation is myth. Well, what do you want? Like, do you want everyone to live in hyper-condensed cities, right, where we're completely out of touch with nature and out of touch with our humanity? Or do you want each person to own their plot of England? Because I want to own a plot of England, right? That's what most people want. And I think the people who've got their heads screwed on, they want that. Sure, you could take all of the people in the world and you could fit them into just France and have the rest of the world controlled by mega corporations, right? Who would just use the land as they wanted. Yeah, sure, you could get rid of, but what you'd have is you'd have this horrible dystopia. You have human beings taken away from everything there is to be human. So, I'm afraid I have to disagree with you there,
It's
Tony.
only possible to go completely off the grid when you can go and buy your own land, you can get solar panels, get all your resources provided. You often be dependent on renting or other services, you know, and so whilst you're dependent on the system, you're always going to be dependent on the government, right? So if you can own your own house and own part of England, then you are effectively more of a free person.
Everyone should own their part of England. Everyone, a plot of
It's a
England.
part of freedom.
Everyone should own their own part of this country, and not have it just handed to them. Like everyone should have the ability to earn it. But I'm afraid that what we've created is because you've got the mass migration, and you've got the government centralisation in London, and the government does not build infrastructure. So all you're doing is creating like mass overcrowding of all of the services. So look, Britain could maybe fit 100 million people or more in 100 years if we planned it right. If we built all the infrastructure now like the Victorians did, we could fit that many people, and that would be fine. And I'd be, I want more British people. I'm 100% behind that, but we're going to need the infrastructure first, then the housing and businesses will just flood in come second, right? Take the centralisation out of London, keep the government focused there as a nexus, but the government's much smaller, so you don't have all of the money sort of flooding around London, more spread out across the country, and places can expand. Now, Sean. Oh, rightio. Sean Finch is back.
Yeah, so I think if you look at the fact that Britain has a population of 70 million right now, and then look at Canada, one of the world's biggest countries, that has half the population of Britain. How can you fit double the population of Canada in Britain, given the size difference?
I believe that genuinely, like, you can increase the population, but you have to plan it out.
Well, that means we have to go vertical.
You don't have to go vertical. You just need to actually have the infrastructure. No, you don't need that. What you need is to expand but outside of London.
So do you think that we should have like 2 billion people in the UK?
No, I think we could fit 100 million, and I think we could fit 100 million in 100 years.
The quality of life would go down, I think.
Not if we planned it out well in 100 years. But right now, we need to like severely control immigration. Yeah, of course. Like, we agreed on today's infrastructure. I'm saying, like, there is a good point to be made that if you plan it out well, then a lot of the problems aren't as bad as they seem, right? But the problem is, it's not planned out well because the government's absolutely incompetent, because the government is focused on 50,000 things like censoring people on the internet rather than doing their job.
Preferably we won't demolish our farms in order to more houses around. I think that we should keep the green side of the farms because that gives people a sense of peace when they can get away from the busy world like the cities.
Exactly. People do, like, people need nature. Like, and that's like, we need to return the land that's been taken from us Londoners back to us Londoners. You know, they built on all the green spaces, and it's like, no. We need to build up the other cities and make them so attractive that people choose to leave London. And people right now are fleeing London, but obviously so many migrants are coming in, they're completely like displaced native population. And that's why you've got Sadiq Khan as mayor.
We went to the park, Holland Park, and I went there before, that was really nice.
Sorry, it's a bit loud. Should we knock the stream on its head?
I'd like to say hi to your chat.
Go on, say hi to the chat.
Hi chat, Winston Smith, David, great thinking mate.
Go on, shout yourself out.
No, just the people in chat, because you make it possible. James Scott, good mod.
Mark Kelly, I'm saying not now, I'm saying genuinely, like, people said that we couldn't fit like 50 million people in England back when we were 20 million. We could, right? And that was fully possible. We can fit 100 million in another 100 years once we, like, if it's not all concentrated in London. Like, and I'm talking very long term. Right now, we couldn't fit 100 million. We can't fit 70 million. We can fit about 60 million people, but give it 20 years, we could be at 70 million, or give it if we actually had a competent government.
Then we started to incentivise other countries to build up their quality of life rather than trying to be, just saying shove the entire world in Britain, like the socialists seem to keep doing.
That's true.
The socialists are like, open the borders and bring every person in the world to Britain, and that means everyone's quality of life will be the same as ours is right now. No, everyone's quality of life, including ours, will go down, and theirs. So the reality is that I think that we need to improve their country rather than going to try and demoralise our people.
But how do you improve their country?
Well, we can look at improving trade deals and whatever. I mean, Commonwealth countries especially, I think are more likely to be able to work with them. And we can improve the quality of life. If they say, we like this characteristic of Britain, that's why we live and we moved to Britain. Well, maybe we should try and improve that aspect of.
Sorry, 1 second. Sean, there you go. Shout stuff out.
All right, you would hold that.
Give me a rundown.
Well, I'm doing two screens at the moment simultaneously. That's how great I am. I'm just saying. Obviously, you saw me earlier, probably on the screen. If it's the same screen, that is. Trying to get down Westfield, but it was all over by then. But like I said, Palestinian people, they're trying to copy the freedom movement now, the anti-lockdown movement, by going into Westfield, yeah, but there's only hundreds, they're pathetic, yeah, right? We are now the biggest movement in this country. It isn't Black Lives Matter, it's not Extinction Rebellion, it's not some feminist rubbish, it isn't Kill the Bill or anything like that. Palestine, Israel, it is us, it is the freedom movement, it's the anti-lockdown movement. There's millions, and it keeps growing and growing and growing, right? So, because we're about unity. All of those other organisations are about divide, and we're about unity. We're uniting black, white, Asian, man, woman, all sexualities, all religions, left and right. We're about unity, and that's why the state fears us the most. The other organisations are useful idiots to the state because they're all about dividing. So only those people who still support, who are watching now, who still support those other movements, it's time for you to wake up and realise you're being played, right? They're all about, they want you to divide, you are not unified. So please do follow my channel, Delivering Liberty. I've got about 730 people at the moment subscribed. Get me to 1,000 by the end of the week, or next week, I should say. Well, I want 10,000 soon after, so please do subscribe. Right, cheers for that, thank you. Well,
People want to burn it down should take those offers that you were talking about.
Yeah, and then they can just literally they can head off. No force, no coercion. It's like, look, we will facilitate anyone who wants to leave leaving, and then everyone's rents go down. The people who genuinely have come over here because they thought it was going to be great, but then it's not been as great for them as they thought it was going to be, they can go home.
Low key.
It's like Malcolm X said, anyone, the government is paying for any black person to go back to Africa. That's something that he said.
Yeah, but the black people in the United States, right, aren't from Africa.
Not all of them.
Well, not most of them.
The ones that were descendants have been taken from Africa.
Yeah, but they've been there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Taxpayers pay for that. But they want to stay there and get reparations instead. It's the same kind of thing. It's always descendants of people that have come from. They feel like they've been taken from their homeland. With England, people came here voluntarily. No one was taken. I mean, when you look at how slavery was, no one was forced. There was.
Well, slavery has always, almost always been illegal in England. Even when people tried bringing slaves to England, what used to happen is they used to run away very quickly because they're like, yeah, I'm just going to dip. And when they managed to catch these people, bring it before a court, the court ruled that once a man set foot on English soil, he is free. You've got rulings dating back to Elizabethan times, right? And a lot of the reason that slavery happened was in the Americas was because it was so far away and so detached from everyone in England that a lot of people didn't realise what was going on. People genuinely didn't know, which is why, a lot of what happened with the abolitionists, with William Wilberforce, great sort of heroes, radicals, extremists, right, like that, amongst the elite, they were extremists. It was about informing people, saying this is evil, and the British people were like, no, this is evil. We didn't know this was happening. We knew that we were told there were some barbarians that people were trying to control, but these are human beings being treated like chattel, and it's fundamentally un-English. And the only reason it went on for so long was because it was so far away from everyone, and people presumed that it was they presumed that we had the modern communication, there'd be people just filming stuff happening. No, people can't even. We've got the internet now, and people don't even know what's going on now. You think people knew what was going on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago on a different continent that took 5 months or something like that to reach? Nah.
Apparently I'm torrent fucking his son.
I mean, that could be possible.
2 people have said it now. I'm not from up north. Come on.
LMH, good to see you. He said that you're sexy. Oh yeah, 12-year-old tyrant finder.
12. Well, if I'm 12 and I want to talk shit about me in chat because I'm technically underage, I'll go to 12.
Oh, thank you, Angela. Saying GB good on English history, impressed. Yeah, Steve, yeah, all races had slaves, even Muhammad had slaves, non-argument. Well, yeah. I mean, look, if you look at so-called slavery in Anglo-Saxon times, I mean, it was more like indentured servitude, which you could essentially try calling slavery. But the thing is, it was more like if someone owed you A, a debt, or B, had committed a crime against you, then they had to work for a certain period of time for you. Like, you can research this yourself. Like, it's entirely, like, don't just trust me. Go and have a little look at it. What was it? Every race and ethnicity. Well, I don't think it's about race. It's about culture, man. It's like every culture should basically run itself, unless the culture is so barbaric that it doesn't give people freedom, in which case you have imperialism until they can be elevated to a cultural standard where they do respect freedom, you know? This is one of my things, like, people always go on against the British Empire. I'm like, look, you think it was perfect, like, you got Swaraj, like, it was like the British Empire was one of the best things that happened to India, because before that they had the Mughal Empire, which was evil, much worse than the British Empire. Like, if anyone wants to check out, it's not the dodgy scientist, his name is spelt the same, but there's a guy called Neil Ferguson, who's a historian, and his book, Empire, is a really good book. Like, it goes through all of, like, the good and bad stuff that happened in the British Empire.
A lot of people that complain about the British Empire, I honestly believe that they should research the Ottoman Empire and see what the Ottoman Empire did. And look at the difference between the British Empire and the Ottoman Empire. And those things that they complain about the British Empire, you'll find the Ottoman Empire did 10 times worse.
Yeah, look, there were obviously evil things that British Empire did, but...
I mean, I'm not going to say I justify some of the bad stuff the Ottoman Empire did, but I don't see why it's all one direction just towards Britain, or those that are offspring of the British Empire.
Because it's like this cultural thing of, like, Anglo-hatred. Like, people genuinely hate England, right? And do you know what it is? It's like, because...
I think it's because England they formed one of the strongest structural societies in the world, and many countries started off that kind of system, like Canada, America, some parts of the Caribbean.
It's all to do with victim status. It's like, who's to blame for the problems in our country? I'll blame the British. It's like, well, who built the schools? Who built the railways? Who built the roads? Right? Where did the good things come from? How was your country doing before, like, we turned up? Genuine, how was your country doing? Was it even that country? Was it just literally a province in someone else's empire? If you go back in time, would you have been the ruler, or would you have just been some damn serf? Would you have literally been a peasant in the fields? Would you have had the opportunity to go and make something of your life, learn a trade? Or would you have just literally been a serf? Because that's what people need to do. They need to have historical perspective. And frankly, a lot of people don't have that.
And a lot of white people don't dare to say this. A lot of white people are white people racist, they say this.
Like, that's just it's just pure racism that when people just target white people. Like people need to, like, what's going to happen? Like, white people getting more and more marginalised in society.
That's why we have this segregation between whites and non-whites. Because white people are so scared to speak to non-whites without fear of offence all the time. That white people just don't want to speak to non-whites. Because that continuous fear is going to call me racist.
Fuck it, man.
And so as a result, white people might start up businesses and whatever, but those brown people might not get the chance to start joining small business startups, the passion project, because the white people are scared of being called racist and having their business shut down. So brown people get less job opportunities.
Jokes are jokes, right? But actual malicious, false accusations of racism are disgusting, because all they do is they just perpetuate racism.
Yeah.
One of the worst things is for people to go around calling everything racist, not as a joke, but genuinely, like, seriously, just to get something out of it. Those people are like, those people are sick in the head. Like, they're genuinely sick in the head because they're like, oh, I can get something, so I'll pretend this is racism. So what you're doing is you're covering for actual racism when it happens.
Well, if you look at what's going on across the entire of the European continent, white Europe, you'll start to see that white people are starting to build a resentment towards non-whites because of all these false accusations of racism and all these kind of bully tactics that are being used.
Yeah, you're right. It will create racial division.
Yeah.
That's all it does, and it will screw over the race that you're actually trying to go for. Because like racism is not good. Racism is bad. And look, you just need to leave things to free market. Someone wants to be racist. Like, go check out Thomas Sowell. He's a fantastic economist. Racism doesn't pay. Like, you want to run, like, if I run a business, I only hire white people, right? You run a business, you hire all races, right? What's going to happen, right? You're going to get the best people. I'm just going to have the best white people. So I'm going to have to hire a bunch of crappy white people because I can't fill the positions with loads of different races. Which means my business is going to do worse and I will lose money. I will get punished for being racist. If my business is going to be a racist business, I'm going to get punished. Racism doesn't pay.
Resentment build-up is coming because everyone's scared of being accused of something that's not real.
Exactly.
And so white business starters are saying, I'm only employing white people because I'm scared of my business getting shut down.
And the thing is, it's about the free market. The free market does not give a shit about your race, right? The free market fights against racism. And more government control, more government diktats, all they do is split people into stupid racial groups, which what sort of diversity is that? Well, you're like, oh, minorities. No, everyone's a fucking minority because everyone's a damn individual. So let's stop going off all this race, all that race.
When these just generalizations of accusing people, they are causing more problems for everybody, and that includes whites and non-whites. Everyone is getting hindered by this. So I hope that whites and non-whites speak more loudly. When you see the BBC making these accusations of generalised statements towards whites or non-whites, whatever the statements are, I want people to stand up and say, no, that's BS, that's making generalisations. BBC, you're being racist.
Exactly. Look, if someone wants to make a joke, make a fucking joke. But that's it, right? Like, if you're actually being like malicious and serious and going after people for their fucking race, if you're not making a joke, then it's just like.
If it's about banter, then I think everyone understands what's
why? It's just like. What's the point, man? Apart from that, these people, it's like race grifters.
Yeah. Race grifters are the people that are causing the problem, right? And the BBC hire all of them.
Yeah, because they basically use the race grifters as protection against the race grifters, but the race grifters are going to destroy them. Like, these people, they're essentially screwing themselves. Well, the problem is, by the time they retire, it's not their problem.
Unfortunately, we need more voices like Dominic Samuels and Calvin Robinson, the ones that speak common sense, the ones that say, no, this doesn't represent all black people, as you keep saying, BBC. Shut the fuck up and be honest. Be real with people.
Well, yeah. But it's like, why does it need to be, like, why does it need to be people of one race that stand up? Like,
I think white people are too scared to stand up because they have all the constant accusations of being racist. If they say anything, I mean anything, if you say anything positive about the empire, you're racist. If you say anything like black and white people actually can get on together, you're like, oh, that's ignorant of racism, you're racist. It's like, you can't get a break.
A lot of people say that Britain isn't racist, but genuinely, like, Britain is a deeply racist society against white people because you have this cultural indoctrination to hate white people. It's disgusting. And you're teaching little kids, oh, you hate yourself because of the colour of your skin. Oh, you're the oppressed because of your colour of skin. These people are fucking psychopaths. Absolute fucking psychopaths.
I just hope that non-white people start to identify by their culture and not their skin colour anymore. If they stop identifying by their skin colour and identify by their culture,
how sad is it that your identity is based on melanin and not your actual characteristics?
Hi everyone, my name's Calvin. If you want a masterclass in common law, you're going to get it right now. I would advise to take notes and record it, because there's so much information coming at you, you won't be able to take it all in. So, take notes, record it. I'm going to try and get through it.
Sorry, I thought I was
as quickly as I can. Trying to listen to half hour. Impossible.
My nose looks huge on your screen.
What?
My nose looks huge on it.
No, your nose looks fine.
I only tell the truth.
Oh, you're going to do wear a mask?
Yeah, I'll put my mask
If
on.
anyone wants to do a question.
No one knows I'm ugly when I'm wearing a mask.
Things that I haven't tried yet, but are worth trying.
No, you're not taking away races. It's just like you're just not looking about it, not looking at them as important.
We don't really know. We don't really know who you are. You believe.
It's like people aren't constantly identifying themselves by their, eye color. Oh, I got green eyes. I got blue eyes. Well, who gives a shit, man? Like, people aren't constantly going on about their, oh, I'm size 12 shoes. Oh, I'm size 7 shoes.
Who cares? Are not actually yours.
James, have I been to the ends? I live in the ends. I live in the ends. People cringe when I tell them where I come from. It's funny, like, I walk around where I come from, and occasionally people recognise me and they're like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I live here. And they're like, what? Like, yes, I come from London. What, do you think I lived in fucking Richmond or something?
Or may not be familiar with your own birth certificate.
No, you've now got a big
If you look at the bottom of the birth certificate in bold, large, it will tell you born in.
People should be protesting outside Bank of England. That's where they should be protesting. That thing needs to be abolished. Apart from maybe, saying, oh, this is what the new note is going to look like. But, yeah.
If any, so you can be born without. On my certificate, I have one name.
Why do you need money when you've got one of these?
Surname.
Yeah. You just use one of those and you get everything.
On your birth certificate, you have a born day and a birthday. The born day.
Hey, King.
You're actually born.
Sorry about not answering your comments earlier. I saw your comment, but I had to. It was earlier today.
Your straw man is your person. Now, you need to understand who your person is as well, because if ever you find yourself in trouble with the police,
I think you may have a point, Shane.
Did you get any reactions to the card?
trainers training, learn how to.
Wait a second. What did someone say?
Learn how to.
Someone said, "Lol, that card."
Train guys who are going to be training other guys and girls to be peace constables, people that actually look after not these high-vis revenue collectors that you see that claim to be police constables. They are not constables. You need to learn how to deal with police, how to deal with courts. When you stand in front of a court, in front of a judge, you're on the spot, the heat is on. You will be nervous, but most of them I've found so far are pirates. And what I mean by pirates, when you go to court, a magistrate's court, you will see that they are built like ships. They're built like boats, with gangways, with gangways, with portholes.
It is like this is what neo-communism is about. Neo-communism is essentially like, oh, okay, what they gave up on the working class, right? The working class was always the vehicle to overthrow the government, but they realised that the working class was actually doing really well at capitalism because they were working. So what do they use? They say, okay, right, black people, all the white people are going to genocide you. women, all of the men are just gonna like enslave you and use you as like.
It just seems to be passers-by.
That should be more interesting, what he's saying, you know.
There's a girl set over here.
Yeah, I think he stopped.
But yeah, so they tell all the women that the men are coming to get them.
Witchcraft spells.
They tell all the homosexuals that they're going to get genocided. They tell all of these lies that everyone's coming to kill everyone, and they use that fear, put people in perpetual fear, and those people become radicalized to then want to take out the majority, because they think rather than having the majority, which is the working class, which wouldn't go with them, they use radicalized minorities.
The only one who can be heard speaking is a person of standing. To be a person of standing, or a man of standing, or a woman of standing. The way to prove you are a man or a woman of standing is to prove you own property. When you own property, and most people think property is houses. Only a person who has standing, who owns property, will be heard in court. You're represented by
How's it going over here?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
No, not too bad.
Good.
Have you got anything talking about the lockdowns?
Not on here, no, not yet.
Ah.
Got a bit about the act. Sorry, I was sat on it. And then a bit about masks, and then at the bottom there's going to be a bit about PCR tests.
Ah, good.
So, just trying to give people a bit more information, seeing as they're only getting it from one side. So.
Well, hopefully, it's been decent outreach.
It's going to be the best snack.
Hello, hello.
Oh my God.
Everything's handmade here, I think. Hi, local. Good to see you in the chat.
What's your channel then?
Oh,
is it YouTube?
yeah, we got a bunch of channels. Resistance GB, we're biggest on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool, I'll have a look.
Yeah, we've just been running around like mental today.
Yeah, have you been filming everything?
First Hong Kong, then Palestine. No, first here, then Hong Kong, then Palestine, and now back here.
Really?
So it's been just an absolute mad one.
Well, it's nice to chill out here at the end of the day, isn't it?
It's nice. It's a nice environment.
I've literally been sat doing this since like midday, like 12 o'clock. This is what I want. I just want to wake up and do this.
Well, at least you're industrious.
Yeah.
It's nice doing something creative, like.
Definitely. It's the first time I've ever painted anything this big.
Well, you seem to be doing well.
Yeah, you can do small things like mandalas, little intricate things, but this is, then them ones there, they're just the biggest ones I've done, so. That's solid. Thank you. Everyone's been so lovely as well.
It's nice being sort of like. I know it's weird, like I'm doing most of the running around, but it's nice when you get to be sort of creative with one of our videos or something. It's like one of the first opportunities that I've had to actually be creative. And it's less about like doing art, because I'm not necessarily that good with art and pictures and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's about how you sort of cut it together. It's more about wits, you know what I mean? Like we do some videos like, our ones, like we did one recently debunking like the MSM. We caught them lying with the exact same words.
Right.
Like it was like 5 different newspapers.
Yeah.
Like the Mirror,
They do
the
that a lot,
Mail,
though, don't
the
they?
Sun,
Yeah.
was like ITV, and then there was like Yahoo as well. They all put out exactly the same, literally like a whole sentence.
They get told what to write.
Exactly.
They're all going to say the same thing. Penny.
But we just put in like this beautiful, like dramatic classical music over it, right?
I'll give it a watch.
And then you just, it's just like a little theatrical flair to it. What do you guys think of the...
No, I try not to look at that stuff anymore because they all piss in the same pot, sorry, my language, but...
Yeah, it's best to stick away from the MSM. I don't have my phone number on my card, I have my email on the card. Which is also available on the YouTube channel, so it's not too secret. Yeah, Boris Johnson apparently is like said, oh yeah, you're not going to get any freedom for another month, and then it's going to be autumn, and then everyone's going to die. That's it, we're all doomed. I think that's Boris Johnson's thing, which is just the same old, you know, rinse and repeat. Like last summer was better than this summer. There was like a bit of freedom. Footballers.
I started this in the morning, you know. You started this in the morning.
Yeah, I just thought that this was like a nice sort of aesthetic whilst I was like talking to the chat. Hello there.
How are you doing, young lady? What time did you go to sleep last night?
Huh?
What time did you go to sleep?
Like 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, wow.
You're rebelling. You're rebelling. Are you rebelling against bedtime?
Yeah.
I was telling her, she goes like, I'm a human being, I can do what I want. And I was like, we're in nature, right? Because then she says we're in nature. I said, we're in nature, animals go to sleep early. And she goes, well, they do what they do, I do what I do. There's no winning.
Yeah.
No winning.
Bye.
And who drew
Get to that age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who drew Batman? Who drew Batman? Look.
Is this meant to be him? Where's your Batman t-shirt?
I had to wash it. I don't understand it. I really do like that t-shirt. I'm not keep wearing it. It's classic, right?
Oh yeah. What is it that Chris says?
Is it Nisha?
Crisis is the handmaiden
Go back to that lady.
of tyranny.
She's been working on this like all day.
Yeah, since like 12 o'clock. I love it though. I wish it was my life. Just wake up and paint all day.
Well, you can tell that this is a genuine movement, unlike, you know, Extinction Rebellion, because people actually make their own signs rather than just getting handed like 50 of them. Oh wow. Two police vans going by.
Surrounding myself with like
Might be going down to the Israeli embassy or something. Don't know if there's still any. We just went by in the distance. Like, to be fair, a lot of police do come by here because it's a sort of main road. There's a big roundabout not too far away, in and out of London. So a lot of cars just pass by. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Coffee is always appreciated. Well, I prefer tea actually, personally. I've got myself an iced tea. That is how dehydrated I was. Only I have drunk this. Yeah, my time's going well, I think. Like, you know, have a little look at the difference. Wait a second. I'm slowly getting a decent tan.
There's no stand.
What?
There's no stand. You look after them.
What? What? Why am I now in charge of two
I
streams?
looked after your stream. I talked to them. Right? Look after my stream, innit? Talk to them. Talk to them. I talk to them. Hey, I'm back to interview. Blah, blah, blah.
I had a dream about my cat last night.
Amazing, there you go.
You actually remind me of him. I had a dream about my cat.
You're a cat. Laura's a cat. Your house is full of cats. Your whole life is being a cat.
Yeah, cats are better than dogs. But I think what we'll do is we'll knock the stream on its head in about 20 minutes. We'll head off. Because I'm going to head back, get some rest, and we'll probably go down and see what's happening tomorrow. If you guys could subscribe on Telegram, that would be fantastic, please, guys. Yes, I am probably poisoning myself. There are probably sweeteners in this. I need to do more research into it. I try and eat sort of fairly like low carb diet, but I'm not very successful with it. The problem is like being out and about, and especially when stuff just crops up and you don't have time to sort of pack food and whatnot. Could you come and show us the sign? Well, there are like more busy roads than there are less busy roads, Tony.
Thank you.
I mean, Delft bad. I mean, it is an intelligence test, but then at the same time, with, you know, people getting this stuff, it is an
name when you're live, because I see you all the times and I watch your videos. I'm Kelly.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Do you want to say hello to the?
I don't know.
You're shy. You've got.
I am a bit shy.
I've got actual interview stream as well.
Really?
I've got all the streams now.
Really? I've had a bit of a drink, so I don't want to come outside drunk.
That's okay.
It's not okay, not on camera. But
Oh, you should see this.
on Instagram.
Yes, so Resistance GB on Instagram. Wait a second. We're on a whole bunch of platforms.
Oh, there you go.
If you're on Telegram, we're trying to grow our Telegram. Please do subscribe to our Telegram, guys. All the best, Tim.
Are you live now?
Yes, yeah. So we've got two streams running. We've got actual interview stream.
Okay.
It's about an hour away, Steve. Sorry, people are just asking me like, how
it's
far
alright,
it is
you've
to get
got to
home.
respond, you've got to respond.
Yeah.
No, I love what you do though. You've been working very hard, I've seen you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll add you up. I'm Kelly.
Wilsey.
Wilsey.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good. I need to go and find some of your old videos. I definitely was in there. More drunk.
Well, we've put together like we're doing a thing that's like music of the resistance. So we're doing like a sort of bit of cultural news.
Okay.
And we're using our old footage to put together like a sort of music video. It's sort of like interesting. So we've gone through a lot of our old stuff. I'm not sure when that's coming out, but I was talking. Laura's basically putting together like music videos, like sort of the music of the resistance. Or I think it's like anthems of freedom. We're calling it, where she sort of highlights people who've gone out and made the effort to make, you know, sort of countercultural music against what's going on.
And that's what she's about now. She's the couple singers that we're with today. So you spread the word of that, even more music will get even made through this.
Because a lot of people like have made this and they're just, no one's sort of sharing it.
Censoring it as well.
Yeah. So it's being censored. People don't.
Oh no!
You literally put your foot in it.
Okay, you can.
So yeah, hopefully we should have more sort of music on the channel, just when people sort of give us permission to show, you know, what they're doing. Like that, there are loads of musicians out there, often like not in London, across the country. It's not just Jam for Freedom, although Jam for Freedom is doing a huge amount of work. and yeah, people get to sort of see the reality. Sky Angel saying hello. Huh? Sky Angel is saying hello.
Sky Angel, she's my YouTube girlfriend.
And you should seriously look into doing it with officers.
Well, I guess you do need a YouTube girlfriend if you haven't got a real one.
Sky Angel's my YouTube girlfriend.
I think what you need to do is make at least 10 and put it on Instagram and explain that they are made to order.
Oh man, my views dropped so much. What happened?
Are you going to keep streaming?
I had like 250 viewers, right? And the guy started speaking about common law, and it just went.
Yeah, I just thought I'd just like...
It just went. Everything went. It's 152.
I just thought I'd chill over here for a bit. Because I just want to give sort of more of the sort of love down vibes. But yeah, are you going to keep streaming?
Yes.
Okay, so if you guys, if some of the mods, if you'd be so kind to post actual interviews, link in the chat, and people can head over to actual. Imi's too grumpy when he has to walk.
What?
Imi's really grumpy when he has to walk. He's on.
Listen, guys, if you're watching, like, I'm just gonna keep this on for maybe like an hour or something.
Yeah, then you can pass them
It's
over.
gonna be pretty much the same thing. Like if you just want to see what's going on in the camp, that's it really.
Yeah, if you want to head over now, guys, if we get the link in the chat. There we go. Beautiful, and you guys can head over.
I might do a little tour soon. Little tour of the camp, go to the kitchen, everyone loves the kitchen.
You made a curry this morning.
I made a curry for everyone this morning, I did. I started making it and people came up to me.
But it had no meat in it.
Is it vegan? Are you making vegan? There's so many of them, they're all young little people. I said, yeah, sure, yeah, man. I could have put eggs in it, there are a lot of eggs. Could have made egg curry.
Mate, you should have put, like, mate, you got to have meat.
I know. These young people.
I am looking forward to, like, just meat when I go home.
What?
Meat.
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 Nice.
Meat is nice.
What did I had lasagna. Like in Jam for Freedom, the artist and singer, Vivian, she made a lasagna. It was awesome. Amazing. It was so good. That's one of the reasons I went back. I wanted to charge my batteries and have that lasagna.
Yeah, what do you guys think about GB News nicking my name? Well, Andrew Neil, I got beef. The new, they're starting on the 13th. They're going to be a new TV channel, and the whole idea is like they've basically nabbed a whole bunch of different people. Like Andrew Neil is probably the least worst interviewer on the BBC. Credit to him. He's the least worst. But at the end of the day, he's a bit, you know, anyone who is BBC tends to be pretty crap. And he was on the BBC for ages. And I just, like, you're making money off of, like, what, bullying pensioners? Have you got no principles?
Yeah. So what was it? What happened? Like everyone over 75 has to pay, or is it? Did they raise the age?
Look, it's apparently everyone has to pay a license for a fucking television. It's like, why do I need a license for a television? Like, damn you! I'm not giving you. Why should I have to give you that money? It's like it's ridiculous.
I cancelled my TV license.
Yeah, fuck it, man.
Everyone should cancel their TV license. You don't have to. You don't need a TV license to watch live television.
Yeah,
that's
ridiculous.
Right? You need a TV license to watch BBC iPlayer, but BBC can just go away. Don't even watch iPlayer. Have some respect for yourself. They do make amazing like nature documentaries, but there's not much propaganda with animals, right? But apart from that,
oh no, because what they do is they say, oh, we're all going to die in 12 years. All these animals are going to be dead.
Bring that into
right. This is what I was thinking about, because I was thinking, oh, right, what are my kids going to watch, right? When our kids, I was like, I need to make an archive of 1990s kids shows. Like an archive of 1990s kid shows.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing? And then, like, just so it's unpolluted, because this is it. Like, if you're feeding your kids really crap, really shit, like TV, what, you think that's not going to influence them? You think them sitting down for like an hour or two a day, watching stuff that tells them to hate you and hate themselves, you think that's not going to affect them whatsoever? Because what, you have a 5-minute chat with them about it? Are you dumb?
Everything affects the child.
Yeah, everything. Kids are sponges.
Even giving them the wrong brand of their favorite cereal would have a big effect on them. Childs are very impressionable. They're literally sponges. They literally explore every extremity of the world as they're growing up.
And if you like feeding them like just horrible stuff, like what is it? Like, do you remember Hey Arthur? Now they've decided to make like the teacher like gay. Why? You know, like it's like, oh kids, I'm coming out as a homosexual. What are you doing?
I don't have any. Look, the thing is,
that's a child. Like, look, if that character was always like, let's be honest, that character always seemed like somewhat homosexual. That's fine.
Hold on a second, right? I have a serious problem with altering existing TV shows. You can always make new shows, right? No problem with that. None whatsoever. You can. But when you're just altering existing things, old things, even Simpsons had to remove a character. That I completely disagree with. Go ahead, make your diverse cartoon. See how it goes. No one watches it, nobody watches it. The kids don't like it, they don't like it. But changing things that already exist is traumatic to people like me.
Genuinely, it's not like kids will watch a lot of crap. It's like, what stuff are you putting in front of them? Like, you have to seriously like control what you're putting in front of little kids. Then as they get older, you need to like, once they've like developed that moral character, as they start to get older, then you start to give them more freedom. And when they are going to watch something that you disagree with, then you need to have that conversation with them and say, hey, look, this is being sort of pushed, and you need to stay away from that sort of stuff, because it is putting like it is putting this ideology into a kid's head for an hour or two a day, every damn day. And how often do you have are you speaking to them for an hour or two a day? People are influenced by stories. Like human beings, why do you think we sit there and watch drama after drama after drama? You know, people are hooked, or they're reading Game of Thrones or The Lord of the Rings, right? Or they're reading The Expanse, or they're watching The Expanse, right? You've got all of these stories, and people love them. Like, people learn best from stories. Like, you know, when you've got to remember something.
The Greeks did that. With traveling theatrical productions.
Like, do you remember all of the like Victorian stories like that taught children to be good and not be bad? They were usually like badly crafted stories, right? But they understood that a badly crafted story was better than just telling a child, "Oh, be good," because they knew that it worked. Everything is about stories. It's about the stories that we tell ourselves.
That's how recorded history began, by telling stories. Advice for life began by telling stories.
That's what it is. And we find meaning in those stories. And for a child who can't necessarily understand what's going on, they can take entirely the wrong meaning. And that's one of the reasons you get good and bad people in the world, is because, you know, and like, don't send your kids to state school, but even if you're educating your kids yourself, don't be showing them like modern kids TV shows or modern kids movies unless you've watched them. Like, you should be watching everything that your kids are going to watch.
I met someone today.
And I know that's difficult. But being a parent is difficult.
But people do that. I met someone in Southampton who was on tour. Stayed at their house. They had a little girl, 3 years old, right, from Ireland, and she loved this cartoon called Ping. She loved it. So they left the house and they look after her for a second, right? Because she can watch this cartoon, but make sure she doesn't watch this particular episode, because they know they watched everything. But this one has like propaganda, which is not good for her at all. I'm not going to talk about the subject, but they literally watch. They're literally raising a kid, the child as well as they can. They know what their children are watching. They know, and it's not that difficult. It's not difficult to do that. All you have to do is watch it with them.
Thank you, David, for the £5 donation. The original writer of Star Wars is now saying Luke and Han were gay. This is the amount of nonsense out there. Oh, and someone also said this is a bit like Peep Show.
It is.
It literally is Peep Show. Oh, yeah. In fact, I've actually been watching a load of clips from Peep Show.
Give me a lighter.
This lighter is coming back to me.
I never gave consent to that. I never agreed to that. There you go.
You had a lighter the whole time.
I couldn't find it. I felt interested about what you were saying. I lost track of the lighter.
But yeah, like Luke is how like Luke Skywalker. No, and then they go and they ruin him in this new. Oh, that's disgusting, man. Like this whole idea of this new trilogy. Like they had canon, right? They're literally authors. They're like, yeah, you get to write a canon Star Wars book, right? And then they're like, oh wow, that's amazing. I get to write the story of what happens to like all these characters that people love. They go see them and I get to write what happens in their future. And then like 20, 30 years later, they're like, oh yeah, that's all shit that never happened. How is that even legal to do that? You know, maybe they could say, oh, it's an alternate universe or something like that. And also the way that they constructed the new Star Wars, it's just not even Star Wars. It's like they could have done it so well. You know, this whole First Order thing, right? What if rather, and I've thought about this because I fucking love Star Wars. So, okay, this has turned into the Star Wars stream now, guys. So please do head over to actual interview because we're going to be ending this in a little bit, like 10 minutes. But for that 10 minutes, it's going to just be me talking about Star Wars. Congratulations. Please flee now. There's another alternative if you don't want Star Wars talk for the next 10 minutes. But yeah, they could have made it like a Cold War. Because the idea that the whole empire was going to collapse, what are the chances of that, right? What if half the galaxy actually just stayed under the empire and half the galaxy was liberated? So they got half of it. So they've got their like victory, and but there's this like Cold War going on.
Oh, there's a fire.
Fire.
Fire in the kitchen.
Why is everyone panicking? Why is everyone panicking?
Have you been going protest for a while? You've been going protest?
I guess it's more the kind of, what were you thinking?
Is it alright?
It's a good. It's a training exercise. Roxy, my lovely. Hello.
Hello.
Sorry.
I've known him before.
I think that was a sign from God.
Apparently it was a training exercise. I think someone just like literally, it just like went, you know, and then someone just was like, oh, fire, but actually they're just like, done.
I think what happened is someone was frying oil, and then they dropped water in the oil, and it went poof, and then like,
Yeah.
it lasted for a few seconds. And everyone
Okay, well that was like not as dramatic as we thought it was going to be. Like, sorry to any mods who preemptively.
False alarms happen a lot. They happen a lot.
Yeah. Anyone who preemptively changed the title to Love Down Burns Down live.
Bogus gassing.
But okay, Star Wars. Please be seated, my young Padawan. Right?
Don't tell me what to do.
Stand up. Would it not have been sick if it had been a Cold War between the Empire and the New Republic?
Space is definitely cold.
An actual Cold War, and then you could have got all the intrigue, and then at the end of the first episode, the war actually starts. And rather than just, you know, a death planet or something like that, right? What if it was like more adult? What if the whole thing was, they're like, oh, we're gonna build a death planet, but then what you do, like a Death Star planet, but then actually it's all a trap, and your plan is to like basically turn the planet into a bomb. So when the like all the fighters like you send in like an armada to destroy it, it actually just destroys all of them. So it's more like just like you blow the entire planet up, which would subvert. Don't. Except for Rogue One, which is the best Star Wars ever.
Is that the one with Childish Gambino? What's the one with? There's one with Childish Gambino.
I don't know, I'm afraid. Have you seen Rogue One? Suraj, you seen Rogue One?
Nope. Yes, King. This is me, Chris. He was like terrified of that last month because he was calling, someone was calling me handsome.
I saw Chris, Tyrant Finder, he brought his kids today, man.
Yeah, he said
I saw him, his little boy, he looks just like him.
Oh, tiny Tyrant Finders.
Yeah, mini Tyrant Finder. And his daughter, she's gorgeous. She's so happy.
Oh, we know why you're saying that, don't we?
She deconstructed her cheeseburger. Like, the patty was on her belly, one bun was here, the other bun's in her mouth.
Suraj, are you the Jimmy Savile
No,
of
I'm not.
like independent media?
No, I'm not.
Yes, he is. After those comments earlier.
I grew up in an Indian family, right? So I was surrounded by brothers, cousins, and
this is just digging yourself a big hole.
It's like when I was a little kid, the other people who were older looked after me, and when they had kids, I looked after their kids. It was like Indian community. They're just surrounded by people.
He's just deepening the whole, isn't it?
You're an only child. You don't know what I'm talking about.
Hey, I have many siblings.
Oh, there you've been in.
Alright, like around. Like scattered around the world.
Like Indians grow up just surrounded by people all the time.
Yeah.
One kid, I taught him his colours, right? He was young. I put red, green, blue, and everything. And he went to nursery, and then you know the tick box culture in schools, where they employ idiots to look after children. They ticked the boxes, and they said, "I think he's autistic and got some serious problems." And his mum was in tears. They came to my house, and she was crying. I said, "Why is she crying?" Because they just said, I'm not going to say his name, but he's got learning difficulties. And I was like angry. I was like, that's absolute nonsense. He's very intelligent. He's just been in the Indian community. He doesn't speak English that much. All of a sudden, he's put in this environment that's completely new to him, and he's just shy and afraid. Guess what, man? He's got 9 A stars. Now he's 21. 9 A stars. All A's in A-levels. Doing a fantastic degree. Absolute genius, top of the class of everything.
I tuned out for like 5 seconds and I thought you were still talking about Jimmy Savile. What are you picking up Jimmy Savile?
I just grew up, I had a blessed life. I grew up surrounded by people. When I see little kids, on the tour, I taught a little girl, 3-year-old, how to play guitar. And I got her to count to 4 and she was doing it, turned into a game. And her parents sent a message to the band saying, "I can't believe it. Our little 3-year-old daughter is playing guitar." She's like, "Mummy, look, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, I find it amazing when people wait. Straight.
Donation.
What?
Donation.
Yeah. We just a little bit earlier, didn't we?
I think they said 007's.
Oh, thank you, David. Oh, 007 now women's. It was to say to boys, can they hit women? Well, I'm fundamentally a liberal. I believe in self-defense. Like, if a woman comes at me with an axe, then I will shoot her with a crossbow.
Yeah, guys, I met.
That's it's just like that's gonna happen.
Famous Bianca,
like,
the Tyrant Finder stream. It's lovely.
I think men and women both need to be able to defend themselves, and the greatest leveler you've got is guns. But this whole thing with like, you know the whole thing with James Bond, they did that on purpose. They did that on purpose to try and essentially attack people. They're like, oh, let's make make Bond black and female, just to annoy people. It's kind of like, they think, oh, shock factor. The people who are watching James Bond are not communists. They're not living in Shoreditch, you know. they're not just, you know, living in Camden. Like, people who watch James Bond are like standard British people, and all you've done is piss them off. And I just don't get why.
Maybe America.
No, speaking dude, like, you don't have to, man.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't mind.
We don't have to.
Who wrote James Bond?
Watch the stream.
No, is it not Ian Fleming? Or is that Sherlock Holmes?
In the Big Brother, you have 10 minutes of hate. In this camp, you have like 1 minute of freedom.
10 hours of love.
1 minute of freedom.
10 hours of love.
10 hours of love.
10 hours of love.
Like it. That should become a thing.
Thank you, David.
As the opposite of like the Big Brother, right? 10 minutes of hate. You have 10 minutes of love, 10 minutes of freedom.
Thank you to any people who have donated, especially people on PayPal that we haven't checked yet. That's really kind of you guys.
Hated you, ain't you?
Good. Good chat, Daddy. I don't feel all the
I'm lying.
Hello. Not too bad. Oh, thank you. Oh, cool.
I've seen you on quite a few videos.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Would you like to be on the stream?
My name's Sticker Nation.
What?
Sticker Nation.
Sticker Nation?
Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't, I'm afraid. Are you on Facebook? Aha, see, I leave the Facebook to Sean because he's a bit more of a boomer than I am.
Yeah. Everyone's got their own little things. Some people are on Instagram, some people Facebook.
See,
but I've seen you on so many things. Are you subject access? I said that to you before and I pissed you off.
There was this one day.
Cut me out, go on, edit, cut it.
There was literally one day when people it's 7 times in that day, and they said, "Are you subject access?" Although I haven't had it today, actually. To be fair.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
What was your name again? On
Wilsey.
On
Resistance
the channel. I follow you anyway. There you go. See.
What?
Take it easy. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you again.
My thoughts are like mantras, which means instantly your soul listens and repeats. And I meditate on the divine to make sure the Most High protects me from being prosecuted for crimes. Because I can't afford jail time, but the Most High protects me from illusions created from my mind. However, I'm always stepping up my gears when I grind. I ain't used to hair, means to spiritually inclined. And I admit I am God from the flesh, but I humble myself because I don't have to prove I'm the best. Because life is a test, I smoke high and great obsessed to eliminate the mind state of being stressed. I am what I am, which means I can't be any less. Never, I feel so divine. Like the sun, no one can stop my shine. I am a leader, so I can never fall behind. Make sure you're winning all the time. You know, I feel so divine. Like the sun, no one can stop my shine. I am a leader, so I can never fall behind. Make sure you're winning all the time. You know, I used to think I was more until God showed me my personal poor. Since to see my life is never normal. Over time, but my mind is paranormal. Don't go in there. My third eye tingling. I mean, my spidey senses tingling. I can explain why that weed smell is lingering. Causing DNA explosions by the bars I'm delivering. Using cosmic laws to attract the life I'm living. The high priest is truly appreciated by the souls that have been truly discriminated. The letter rules whom I'm affiliated. Destroying false teachers that have been fabricated. My ego has been eliminated. The order of Melchizedek is where one graduated. Infinite number of souls will become truly integrated. My light and dark codes have been calculated. I feel so divine, Like the sun, no one can stop my shine. I am a leader, so I can never fall behind. Make sure you're winning all the time. You know, I used to. Like the sun, no one can stop my shine. I am a leader, so I can never fall behind. Make sure you're winning all the time. You know, I feel so divine. Like the sun, no one can stop my shine. I am a leader, so I can never fall behind. Make sure you're winning all the time. You know, I feel so divine. Like the sun, no one can stop my shine. I am a leader, so I can never fall behind. Make sure you're winning all the time. You know. Meta science, high priest. Meta science, high priest. Meta science. Meta science, high priest. Meta science, high priest. Meta science. Alright, all of you, let's go. Freedom, 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 freedom. I can't hear you. Freedom, I can't hear you. Freedom, 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 freedom. Still can't hear you. Come on, freedom, 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 freedom. I can't hear you. I don't think people want their freedom. I think you want to be.
Thank you, David. It's really kind of you.
Come on, I want to hear you say freedom, 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 freedom. Hold up. I'm hearing. They're saying they're not going to open up London. They're not going to open up UK next week on the 21st. And the high priest says, if they don't open up, we riot. If they don't open up, we riot. Because they think they are in control of us. They're trying to use common law against us. But we are the supreme beings. We are the sovereign beings in this common land. We are the free men and women on this land. I can't hear you. Make some noise if you're a free man or free woman. All right. Hold on. Now, I got a track that talk about free man and free woman and about statutes that they're trying to use against us, which is just bullshit. Exactly. And the high priest someone else wants all you kings and queens and gods and goddesses to know that, are you human or you God? Ask yourself that question, are you human or you God? Ask yourself that question, are you human or you God? Ask yourself that question. John 10:34. Here is suggestion, are you human or you God? Ask yourself that question, are you human or you God? Ask yourself that question, are you human or you God? Ask yourself that question. John 10:34. Here is suggestion. Let's go.
Go on, guys, head over to actual interview and another alternative. Yeah, another alternative. Go on, get over. Can we have the link in the chat? Go on. Go over to another alternative or actual interview. We're going to head off now. So you want to enjoy this? Head over. All the best. Thank you, David Lanscombe, especially. Thank you all the people who've donated, who've subscribed, who've given me beautiful comments and sort of, the boost to keep going, running along today. Thank you, guys. Cool. Good to see you. Okay, guys. All the best.
My spirit is diverting off God's route. search for the loot. My spirit is diverting off God's route.